ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्त गोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। Hari Om, salutations to all. So in Vivek Chudamani, we have seen the description of the Anatma. The four koshas were described and each of them were negated. Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya and Vijnanamaya. Now the last kosha is the Anandamaya kosha. So from verse 207, the Anandamaya kosha is first described and then negated. Ananda pratibimba chumbita tanuhu vrittistamo jrambhita स्यादानन्दमय प्रियादिगुणकः स्वेष्टार्थलाभोदयः पुण्यस्यानुभवे विभाति कृतिनाम् आनन्दरूपस्वयं सर्वो नन्दति यत्र साधु तनुभृत् मात्र प्रयत्नं विना. So here it says Ananda pratibimba chumbita tanuhu Vrittihi. So what is the state in the Anandamaya Kosha? So Anandamaya Kosha is the closest to the self. And so Anandamaya Kosha is the first one to be as though illumined by the self. Ananda Pratibimbita, as though the self reflects in this Anandamaya Kosha. And there is a Vritti. So in general, we say that there is no mind in the Anandamaya Kosha, in the deep sleep state. What it means is there is no conscious mind and we are not aware of the conscious and the subconscious mind. But there is a subtle, very subtle part of the mind which remains because that is what records the absence of everything. So there is a vritti, but not like the vrittis or the thoughts of the waking state or the dream state, where the identification is there, where the entity is there, Mr. So-and-so, the dreamer or the waker, which we call as Vishwa or Tejas. So that entity is there. And so mind is much more active. In the deep sleep state, the mind has become dormant, but very subtle part of the mind which just records the absence of everything that remains. That is enlivened by consciousness. Ananda pratibimba chumbita tanu vrittihi. Tamo jrumbhita. And there is ignorance in that state. Now this ignorance is of both. One is of the self, that I don't know the self. And the other is, there is no other misapprehension. That I am like this, I am like that, I am Mr. So-and-so, son of so-and-so. That also is not there. Tamo jrumbhita. What is the experience of people in this Anandamaya Kosha? I don't know anything. That's as far as the deep sleep is concerned. Syad Anandamaya. So this is called Anandamaya. Why is this called Anandamaya now? Because the mischief maker, which is the mind or the ego, is not there. In the conscious and subconscious sense, it is not there. So the experience of Anandamaya Kosha of all the beings is the same. No matter who they are. Maybe a king, maybe a beggar, whoever that person is, the experience of Anandamaya Kosha is the same because the conscious, subconscious mind is unmanifest and one is closest to the self. So one experiences bliss. This bliss is not the bliss of the Atma, but this is the absence of all agitations of the conscious and the subconscious mind. Hence it is said it is Anandamaya Kosha. Syad Anandamayaha. Now this Anandamaya Kosha, see in this commentary, Gurudev has given a distinction between Samadhi and deep sleep. Because in general we always say that Anandamaya Kosha, there are no thoughts, there is no mind. But here the word vritti is there. So the clarification Gurudev has given here that the vritti is there, the subtle vritti which records the absence of everything, that vritti remains. Otherwise we will not know what was the experience there. We will not be able to get up and say, I had a sound sleep, no dreams, I didn't know anything, I slept like a log. If that entity is not there to record it, we cannot even recall. So Anandamaya Kosha is the state of deep sleep. And what is the state of Samadhi? In the state of Samadhi, as Gurudev has said here, see in Anandamaya Kosha, the mind and intellect and the ego, they all have become dormant. But the physiological functions in the body is going on. And a small part of the mind remains to record the absence. In the state of the Samadhi, all thought modification becomes still. There is no entity left. Complete stillness happens. Only self remains. And body-wise also, either the people around will have to take care of that body, or as Gurudev has written here, it is the prarabdha of that body to last. If some purpose is there to be served through the body, then the body will get maintained by Prakriti. So Samadhi is the state where all thought waves are totally stopped. Deep sleep is not Samadhi. During deep sleep, there are yet subtle vrittis in the intellect. This is one difference Gurudev has given. And these vrittis can be said to be bliss thoughts because, as we discussed earlier, closest to the self. Like the example which is given is if the cloth is kept near a crystal by itself is colorless. But if there is a cloth nearby, the cloth color will reflect in the crystal. So if you take that example, when the vrittis are closest to the Atma and there is no negative force, there are no agitations, then the experience is of bliss, hence Anandamaya Kosha. Now this Anandamaya Kosha does not manifest only in deep sleep. It also manifests in the waking state. How? Priyadi gunakaha sveshtartha labhodayaha. It is experienced through three manifestations: Priya, Moda, Pramoda. What is the distinction between these three? Labha, Udayaha. It depends on the gain and the possibility of gain. So suppose one loves, a simple example, okay. So if suppose one loves gulab jamun, when I sit and think of gulab jamun, then there is a pleasure that the mind will derive out of that thinking. that this is gulab jamun, I am enjoying this gulab jamun, how tasty, how sweet, how nice. Now the mind is imagining, brooding over the sense pleasure. That brooding over the sense pleasure also creates excitement, creates a certain sense of pleasure. Mouth may start watering. In fact, this is one of the methods which is used for relaxation. If you see different techniques of relaxation, one of the techniques is they will say, close your eyes. Imagine the place which you love the most. Imagine you are in that place. Imagine you are doing what you love the most. And this whole visualization is done. Slowly that person is transported from this place to that, as though mentally that person is there. And the whole body will also relax because the person is enjoying in that state. So Priya means when there is the imagination of the loved object. It can be object, person, situation, whatever it is. So in that, the mind, what it experiences, that vritti is called Priya. That's an expression of Anandamaya Kosha, pleasure. Then if there is a possibility of getting it, and it is a sure possibility that yes, this is going to come, that today in lunch I am going to get gulab jamun, then there is much more excitement. That is called moda. Ganpati Bappa has that laddu, that is called modak, meaning one who gives happiness to everybody. Mud means joy. So moda. So Priya is when the imagination is happening. One doesn't know whether one will get or not, but one is imagining. That is creating a certain pleasure. Moda is when one is sure that one is going to get this. There is much more happiness in that. And pramoda is when one is actually enjoying it. At lunchtime, if gulab jamun has come, one is eating it and actually enjoying it, then the bliss that one experiences, that is pramoda. So priyadi gunakaha sveshtartha labhodaya. This, depending on the possibility of getting it and then actually getting it, this Anandamaya Kosha will manifest in the waking state in these three forms: Priya, Moda and Pramoda. So in the deep sleep state, through the absence of everything, when the mind is not there, subconscious mind is not there, one is closest to the self, so the negative bliss is experienced because of the absence of all agitations. And of course, being close to the Atma is enlivening that, the vritti. Hence, we know that yes, this is the state of deep sleep in which there was nothing. And then comes the manifestation in the waking state, Priya, Moda and Pramoda. Now, this deep sleep state is a very, very important state in Vedanta, because only because of this deep sleep state, one understands that I am not this waking entity or the dream entity, and in the absence of body and the mind, I still exist. Though subtle vritti is there, but the major identity which I have of the waking and the dream, that is not there. And I still exist. So aham, aham, aham is more clearer or more evident that there is something else which is other than this pure, which is other than the body, mind, intellect. So to help us to understand this part, the deep sleep state is very, very crucial. Even physically speaking, deep sleep state is very important, because to relax the body as well as to relax the mind and to make it ready for the next day, deep sleep is required. Nowadays, there are apps which measure the sleep. So you keep that the phone close to the place where you are sleeping, and then in the morning when you get up, they will say This time to this time was the light sleep. This time to this time was the deep sleep. And the lesser is the deep sleep, lesser is the relaxation, one is more exhausted. So even after long hours of sleep, if one has not got enough deep sleep, one feels tired. But with a shorter duration of sleep, but one has got more deep sleep within that, one is rejuvenated. So body-wise also one needs deep sleep. Philosophical standpoint also one has to understand deep sleep state very well. Here though it is not said about deep sleep, the next verse will speak that Anandamaya Kosha predominantly is this expression of deep sleep. And then of course waking state Priyamoda and Pramoda. So this Anandamaya Kosha helps me to understand many things. One is that I am separate from the body and the mind. Second, I don't need any objects to be happy. Are others able to hear me?
Yes, Swamiji.
Yes.
So then, whoever this gentleman or the lady is, iPad to everyone, you have to check your control somewhere. So deep sleep state, one is to know that I am different from the body, mind and intellect. Second, I don't need any objects to be happy. Happiness is my nature. The moment the mind becomes quiet, I experience happiness. Moment the mind gets out, becomes agitated, there is misery, sorrow. So the dependence on objects, people, situations for my happiness, that is not there. Deep sleep helps me to understand that I don't need anything for my happiness. Third aspect, deep sleep makes one understand that quieter the mind, better is the relaxation of both the mind and the body. Fourth aspect, being closest to the Atma, that is the what happens in the deep sleep by the process of nature. Through natural process, we go from waking to dream, dream to deep sleep. And again, deep sleep to dream, dream to deep sleep. This keeps happening. This is by natural process. Now, we are not able to enter into that state consciously. The next line will say how we get into deep sleep. I will come to that. But what is important to understand is what we experience unconsciously in the deep sleep, that we have to experience consciously in samadhi, and more than that. In the deep sleep, unconsciously the mind is becoming quiet. In samadhi, consciously the mind becomes quiet. In deep sleep, the mind remains a little bit in deep sleep, but in samadhi that also goes. So transcendence of mind happens in samadhi. So for these reasons, this Anandamaya Kosha is very, very important. This gives us the clarity about the state of samadhi, the independence of our identity from the BMI, the freedom that we can have, that we don't need objects for happiness. The relaxation that is happening is because of this deep sleep. So this is Anandamaya Kosha. Now again, remember, this is only a kosha. It is a covering on the Atma, the subtlest covering. Now how is this experience? So it says punyasya anubhave vibhati. Because of the punya karma. Kritinam ananda rupa swayam. When the punya karma, kritinam, or good actions, when they result in the good deed, good actions, when they give good results, that is called punya. When that punya is ready to manifest, then this happens. Punyasya anubhave vibhati kritinam ananda rupa swayam. Sarvo nandati yatra sadhut anubhrit matra prayatnam vina. And spontaneously one feels great joy in this state without any effort. Why? Because this is the result of the good karmas of the past, which is one is experiencing. So that's why he said without effort, with natural process one is going into it, because the effort is already been done in the past. It is a result of that. So to the extent I have done good karmas, to that extent I will experience this deep sleep also. because the mind will stay in that. Otherwise, the mind will come out again dream, waking state, because the mind is to experience many things. Punya is not enough, then deep sleep is not going to be steady. So, punyasya anubhave. And because the action has been done in before, it is only the result that I have to experience. So, good karmas lead to good results, that we know very well. But these good karmas which bring punya, that punya helps the mind to remain for longer time in this state of quietude, closest to the self. More rajoguna, in other words, if we say, the more the rajoguna is there, the more the mind goes out into waking and dream very fast. More the sattva guna is there, purity is there, punya karma is there, it will remain in deep sleep. So the duration of sleep required also is much lesser. If you see great yogis, they sleep much lesser because their mind is calm, punya karma is so much and remains in that state. They don't require 8-10 hours of sleep. 4-5 hours are more than enough. And so here it is, Sarvo Nandati Yatra, and everybody rejoices in that state. Sarvo Nandati. Whoever that person may be. And that's one of the reasons why we like to go to sleep, because in that deep sleep, at least we are quiet. We experience happiness. In waking and dream state, sometimes that is not in our control. Many things are outside factors. Here there is only inside factor, that is punya karma, based on which this state one goes through. So Sarvo Nandati Yatra Sadhu. Tanubhrit, whoever has a body, all the beings. Matra prayatnam vina, without any effort. In deep sleep there is no effort. One cannot put an effort because the entity to put the effort is also not there. So this is the Anandamaya Kosha, experienced in two distinct ways. One is in the deep sleep, another is in the waking state through Priya Moda and Namoda. So now, having said this, he goes ahead. Now, actually here is the description of deep sleep. Now in Gurudev's language, if you see what he says, in deep sleep there is non-apprehension of the reality, but there is no misapprehension. In the dream and the waking state, there is non-apprehension plus misapprehension. So I don't know who am I is non-apprehension. But I misapprehend myself to be someone else. In the dream state, some identity I take up. In deep sleep, some identity I take up. So that is misapprehension. So the misapprehension is completely settled down. In deep sleep, there is no misapprehension. But there is non-apprehension. Ignorance of the self remains. And this ignorance of the self is the cause for misapprehension of the dream and the waking state. But there is no effort in that deep sleep state. I cannot put any effort to remove the non-apprehension in that state. Effort has to be put only in the waking state to consciously remove the ignorance and consequent misapprehension. So that's the feature of the Anandamaya Kosha, that being closest to the self, covered by ignorance, not knowing the self, but because the misapprehension is not there, there is a bliss that is experienced. That's Anandamaya. So now 208 he says, Anandamaya Koshasya Sushuptau Spurtirutkata Swapna Jagarayorisha Swapna Jagarayorishad Ishta Samdarshanadina. Anandamaya Koshasya Sushuptau Spurtirutkata. Anandamaya Kosha is fully manifest in this Sushupti, the deep sleep state. Swapna Jagarayo, in the dream and in the waking state, Ishta Samdarshanadina, it only partially manifests. Ishat, why? Depending on the perception of the pleasurable object. Ishta Samdarshana. What we discussed earlier. the imagination, then the possibility of getting it, then actually getting it. So in waking and dream, this happens. This is the expression of Anandamaya Kosha. In the deep sleep, it is the absence of all agitations. So this is the Anandamaya Kosha. Now, in this section, Anandamaya Kosha is negated in the next verse. That why this Anandamaya is also still a Kosha. Naivayamanandamaya paratma sopadhikatvat prakritir vikarat karyatva heto sukrita kriyayaha vikara sanghata samahitatvat. So he says, Naiva Anandamaya Paratma. This Anandamaya Kosha is not the Supreme Atma. Why? First reason, Sopadhikatvat. Because it has Upadhi. Upadhi means what? Equipment. Literally, Upadhi means equipment. So the mind and intellect is still, though it is dormant, the subtle vritti which records the absence of everything is still there. In Atma, there is no Upadhi. Because Upadhi is the equipment and the equipment is liable to change. Body constantly changes, prana constantly changes, mind changes, intellect changes, ego changes. This is Upadhi. So he says Sopadhikatvat. It is, one is the Upadhi is there, though in a minimal form, it is still there. Atma is beyond the Upadhis. Aprano hi amana shubhraha. It is said in the Upanishad. There is no mind, there is no intellect, there is no prana, no body. That's the highest state. So, Sopadhikatva. And because it is Upadhi, it is made up of Prakriti. So, Prakritir Vikarat. It is constantly changing, modifying, made up of 5 elements. And it is inert, Jadavastu. Karyatva Hetoho. This Anandamaya Kosha is, as well as the equipment, in fact. We saw in the second verse in Vivek Chudamani that this human body itself is experienced because of Punya Karma. And Anandamaya Kosha is the state that this body, mind, intellect, they are going through. So he says here, Karyatva Hetoho. Atma is not a product or the effect. But this Anandamaya Kosha is an effect. Effect of what? Sukrita Kriyayaha. Effect of all good karmas of the past. So if we thought good karma is required only to get some external things, like a bungalow or a car or a prosperity or success, achievement, that is only one part. Sleep itself comes because of Punya Karma. And in that deep sleep comes because of Punya Karma. That's why he says here, Karyatva Heto Sukrita Kriyaya. If Punya is not enough, I can't even sleep. Even in the day-to-day world, you see, when somebody has been so corrupt and so selfish and has hurt people, harmed people, the mind of that person will be agitated, disturbed. The person will have bodily problems, will not be able to sleep enough. Restlessness is there. So that is because of this. Because Punya Karma is not enough. Mind is agitated, mind is disturbed. When Punya is there, mind is at least quieter. So Karyatva Hetoho Sukrita Kriyayaha. So how many reasons? One is Sopadhikatvat. It is having Upadhi. Second, Vikara, Prakritir Vikarat. It is constantly changing. Priya Moda Pramoda also changes. The quality of deep sleep also changes. You see that app, when they measure the deep sleep, the duration, the quality, it all changes. So Prakritir Vikarat, it is an effect, Karyatva Hetoho, and of the good karmas, Sukrita Kriyayaha, effect of the good karmas. So that is the third reason. And then Vikara Sanghata Samahitatvat. It also is enveloped by the other koshas which are modified. It being one of the koshas, subtlest one, it is as though enveloped by many other grosser layers. So the Vijnanamaya, Manomaya, Pranamaya, Anandamaya, in the center of that is this. See, for diagram purpose, many times it is drawn as a concentric circles. Anandamaya is the outermost, then Pranamaya inside, Manomaya inside, Vijnanamaya inside, Anandamaya is in the last sheet, and then within that there is Om. That's only for diagram representation. It's not that it's small, but it means it is subtler and closest to the Atma. So being enveloped by the other four, Vikara Sanghata means the other four koshas here. Samahitatvat, being hidden or embedded by these. So these go through modifications and it affects the Anandamaya kosha also. So in the state of Anandamaya kosha, unmanifest vasanas are there, ignorance is there, and the small part of the mind which records the absence of everything is all there. Then it starts manifesting through the waking state and through the deep sleep state, dream state and waking state. Those vasanas start manifesting as desires, actions, thoughts, actions, etc. So this one verse negates the Anandamaya kosha, saying Anandamaya kosha also is not the Atma. See, this practical implication of this we have to understand is Atma is not a state of negative bliss, number one. That absence of agitation is not the joy of the Atma. In fact, Gurudev has written in the commentary of verse 206, what he has written here is the last paragraph in commentary of 207, sorry, not 206, 207. The bliss sheath consists of non-apprehension. There is therein no positive experience of joy. What is experienced in this state is only the absence of sorrow. This much is clear, easy to understand. After that, what he has written, very few in the world know what joy is. All that we know is either sorrow or a slight absence of it. Either pain or absence of it. But real joy, very few of us know. Real joy is nothing but the experience of Brahman, Ananda Ghana. Real homogeneous bliss is the nature of Brahman. We do not experience that. At best, we experience only a relative absence of agitations. This is called the bliss sheath. So, relative absence of agitation is not the Atma. 1. 2. Quiet mind is not equal to the self. Quiet mind is still the mind. In the deep sleep, the mind is becoming quiet. Very less part remains. Rest of it is all quiet. 3. What we experience in the waking state also as Priya, Moda and Pramoda is only levels of pleasure, not happiness. Happiness or bliss is the nature of Brahman, as we saw, homogeneous, unchanging, independent. Our pleasure depends on these sense objects and the brooding and then the enjoyment. But this Atma doesn't depend on any of that, and the nature of Atma is pure bliss. To experience pleasure, we need equipment. Body, mind is required to experience pleasure. Intellect, body, mind, intellect is required to experience pleasure. But to experience the bliss of Atma, nothing is required. So these are practical implications of knowing that why Anandamaya Kosha is not me. Because when we see in the world, many times we mistake these things. So one says, okay, what is the state of realization? Make the mind quiet. That's a means actually, that's not the state. Quiet mind will experience happiness. That happiness is not equal to bliss of Brahman. When I transcend the identification with the mind completely, that's why the Samadhi Avastha, there comes the experience of Brahman, that I am this, your consciousness, whose nature is bliss. So that's why this Anandamaya Kosha is to be understood. Now 5 koshas we saw. Why did we see 5 koshas? Because the question that the student asked was, Ko asau anatma. And what is this anatma? Paramakka atma. And what is that supreme atma? And then how to distinguish? Tayor viveka kathametad. How to separate? So what is the anatma? How to separate? That was covered. By saying that these 5 koshas are the anatma, and why the 5 koshas are not the atma, the separation happened. Now that is said in 210. Panchanam api koshanam nishedhe yuktita shrutehe tannishedhavadhi sakshi bodharupo vashishyate. So he says Panchanam api koshanam. All the 5 koshas nishedhe yuktita shrute. Now when one has negated, how one has negated? Using the scriptural declarations, Shruti, and logic given by the scriptures. Shruti and Yukti, and of course Anubhuti through experiential examples also. So using Shruti, Yukti, Anubhuti, one has negated the 5 koshas that this is not the Atma. Tan Nishedhavadhi Sakshi. When these are negated, what remains is the Sakshi. What is the nature of that Sakshi? Bodha Rupo Avashishyate. That nature of the Sakshi is pure knowledge, consciousness. Now, what is the meaning of negation of the 5 koshas? We don't have to destroy them. We have to get out of the false identification which we have with these 5 koshas. Identified with the body, we feel I am tall, I am dark, I am young, I am handsome, I am old, I am thin. That false identification that I am this, that has to be negated. That I am not this. I have a body, I am not the body. What is negation of Pranamaya Kosha? I am hungry, I am thirsty, I am crying, I am sweating. These are all expressions of Pranamaya Kosha. Now, does it mean I won't have hunger and thirst and crying and sweating and all these? No, it will be there, but I don't have to associate with it. The body is going through it, the mind is going through it. I watch as a Sakshi. That, oh, there is hunger in the body now. Instead of saying, I am hungry, the seeker thinks hunger is there in the body, food is there to satiate the body, I am the Sakshi of this. So this is negation of Pranamaya Kosha. Same way, negation of Manomaya Kosha is emotions rise in me, they stay in me, they fall. I am not these emotions. I am not the mind. Intellectual sheath, the values, the ideas, the ideals, a conscious sense of ahankar that I have, self, the notion of the ego that I have, all that is Vijnanamaya Kosha. I am not any of these. And Anandamaya Kosha is Priya Moda Pramoda is the state experienced by the BMI depending on the sense object and the possibility of getting it and enjoying it. I am a Sakshi of this. I am not the pleasure arising out of sense contact. Nor am I the pleasure arising out of the absence of agitations in the deep sleep. I am a witness of that also. So that is called negation. negating the false identification, not destroying the equipment. Tannishedhavadi sakshi. What remains when everything is negated, all the five koshas are negated. What remains is the negator. And what is the nature of the negator? Bodha rupa. The nature of the negator is consciousness. This will be elaborated in the next section from 212 onwards, because when all the five koshas are eliminated, sometimes one thinks that what remains is zero, nothing, shunya, blank. But Vedanta doesn't say that. There are other schools of philosophy which may believe this. But Vedanta says no, the nature of that Sakshi is Chaitanya Swarup, Bodha Swarup, consciousness. Aham, pure I. It is not inert state, it is not blankness, it is not nothingness. No. And hence that is not what we are seeking. We don't have to make the mind blank. We have to channelize the mind, use it for contemplation on the self, and transcend the false identification that I am these five koshas. Now, Paramakka Atma, what is that Supreme Atma? So 211 speaks about that. Yoyam Atma Swayam Jyotihi Panchakosha Vilakshanaha Avastha Traya Sakshi San Nirvikaro Niranjanaha Sadanandassa Vigneyaha Swatmatvena Vipaschita. Now, what is this Atma? Vipaschita. By the wise person, Savigneyaha, this Atma is to be known. How? Swatmatvena. This Atma is to be known by the wise person as one's own self. Now, what is this Atma? So, this is the brief definition of this Atma. Similar definition you will find in Tattva Bodh also. So, this definition has two parts. One part is called Swarupa Lakshan. That what is the nature of the Atma, and that nature of the Atma is described without taking support of anything else. Direct pointer it is called Swarupa Lakshan. What are the Swarupa Lakshans? Swayam Jyotihi. Atma is self-effulgent. So that's the characteristic of the Atma. Characteristic means, again, don't think of it in terms of finite thing. That's a limitation of language. That's the nature of Atma. Swayam Jyotihi, Sadanandaha, Niranjanaha, Nirvikaraha. These are all Swarupa Lakshan, which directly describe the Atma without taking any other support. Like Sat, Chit, Anand, these are all direct pointers, Swarupa Lakshan. And the second part is the part where using something we describe the Atma. That is called Tatastha Lakshan. Tatastha Lakshan means not directly pointing through the nature of it, but through something else. Tata literally means bank of a river. Stha, stay. Staying on the banks of the river, we point out, you look at that green tree. So they say, yeah, I can look at the green tree. Next to that green tree, the building which is there, in that, the fourth floor which is there, that is my house. So we directly don't say, look straight, that is my house. If you say, that is my house, look straight, that fourth floor, that is my house. That is Swarupa Lakshan. If you say, no, because there are so many buildings now, which fourth floor? Which building? So then you say, that tree, next to that tree, this building, in that the fourth floor. So through that tree, we have found the building and then the fourth floor. That is called Tatastha Lakshan. So here what are they? Panchakosha Vilakshana. Atma is other than the five koshas. So first I should know what are the five koshas, then why is it other than the five koshas? And through that Atma is indicated. Panchakosha Vilakshana, Avasthatraya Sakshi, the witness of the waking, dream and deep sleep. So instead of saying directly the Atma is the nature of consciousness, here it is said that which illumines the waking, dream, deep sleep. So the word Swayam Jyoti is self-effulgent, Swarup Lakshan, and Avasthatraya Sakshi is Tatastha Lakshan, that it is the illuminer of the three states of consciousness. So through the three states of consciousness, one comes to realize that what is that which is common in the three states, changeless in the three states, that is the Atma. So Avasthatraya Sakshi San Nirvikaro Niranjana. It is changeless, it is taintless, it has no blemish. Anjana is a blemish. Niranjana, no impurity. Meaning it is beyond vasanas, beyond ignorance. Sada Ananda, all the time blissful. That Atma has to be known. And known as what? Not some object, okay, there is one Atma like this. Swatmatvena has to be known as the self. Now, when the teacher has said this much, the disciple has a doubt about the Atma, because if you negate everything, the student's doubt is nothing remains. So is Atma that state of nothingness? So you see the next verse. Shishya uvacha Mityatvena nishiddheshu kosheshveteshu panchasu sarvabhavam vina kinchan sarvabhavam vina kinchin napashyamyanna he guru napashyamyatra he guru vigneyam kimu vastvasti vigneyam kimu vastvasti svatmanatma vipaschita. So the doubt that the student has is Mityatvena Nishiddeshu, where all that which is the illusion is negated. Nishiddeshu. Kosheshu eteshu panchasu. Even the 5 koshas are negated. Sarva bhavam vina kinchin. One finds that there is absence of everything. Na pashyami atra he guru. Except the absence, I don't see anything else here. Sarva bhavam vina kinchin na pashyami. Because everything is negated. 5 koshas gone. The thing is, I don't know who am I apart from these 5. And these 5 are gone. And they are dismissed as an illusion. Vigneyam kimu vastu vasti. How to know that there is something in that state? Vastu here doesn't mean object. Vastu here means self. Svatmanatma vipaschita. How will this wise man know oneness with the Atman? Because everything is negated. So there, and one sees only absence of everything. So now this is the question. The answer to that we will take up tomorrow. So now we will stop here. If any doubts are there about what we did today, you are welcome to ask.
हरिओम स्वामी जी.
हाँ जी.
As you आपने जो बताया तटस्थ अनुभूति, तो ये तटस्थ अनुभूति यानी कि कोई भी रिलेशन से ही इसी को समझ में आना, यानी इट्स लाइक परोक्ष अनुभूति, किसी का रिलेशन देके फिर उसको समझना. बिना रिलेशन से जाना नहीं जाता वो, पर आत्मा अपरोक्ष अनुभूति यानी किसी का रिलेशन से नहीं, अपने आप ही जाना जाता है. इज इट लाइक दैट?
नहीं, वैसे नहीं. आत्मा इज नोन थ्रू बोथ. दोनों से जाना जाता है. तटस्थ लक्षण से भी आत्मा जाना जाता है, स्वरूप से भी आत्मा जाना जाता है. 2 अलग प्रकार के पद्धति है कि एक में और किसी चीज का सहारा नहीं लिया जाता और एक में किसी और चीज का सहारा लिया जाता है, लेकिन दोनों के द्वारा एक ही आत्मा का संकेत होता है. जैसे जो उदाहरण दिया डायरेक्टली भी अगर आप देखेंगे तो फोर्थ फ्लोर दिखेगा, इनडायरेक्टली थ्रू द ट्री, देन द बिल्डिंग, देन द फोर्थ फ्लोर, तो भी फोर्थ फ्लोर तो दिखेगा ना। तो वैसा है, आत्मा दोनों लक्षणों से अनुभूति उसकी होती है। केवल उसमें भेद इतना है क्योंकि केवल स्वरूप लक्षण से आत्मा का लक्षण अगर किया जाए, उसके लिए बहुत चित्त शुद्धि भी चाहिए और सूक्ष्मता भी चाहिए। लेकिन जब तटस्थ लक्षण से किया जाता है तो जो हम जिससे हमारा तादात्म्य अभी है वो हमको ज्ञात है, वो है पंचकोश। तो उसको लक्षण बनाकर उसका नेगेशन किया जाता है और उससे आत्मा का अनुभव होता है। So that's the point. From the known we have to go to the unknown.
Thank you. Unknown.
Yeah.
Thank you, Swami.
Okay, so we continue tomorrow. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.